Ace the DM, what up? Let's get this started. My people. So I was sitting here wondering, or more so thinking, I want to pick up where we left off last session. If you recall, where we left off last session, the story involved a lead that we were able to get, essentially a bounty for 2,000 volatile brass. There was a bounty on a NPC's head, an NPC that one of our characters met at the beginning. Long story less long, we ended up getting that target and bringing it back to Sand City Mafrafrul, brought it to the clans who put the bounty on this person's head, and they didn't give us the 2,000 gold that they promised. First off, do we get the gold that we were promised? I'm going to say very likely. No. Were we given more? 50-50. Exception. Instead, it was this whole ego power trip that they went on, and we weren't going to be part of that. And they didn't let us walk away. But what they did say is they would give us the 2,000 if we execute this person. Now, I personally don't have an issue executing them. That's me. This person sounded like they were crazy. They murdered someone recently. I'm totally okay with killing this person. I'm gonna go execute that person, Kuva, so I can get 2,000 gold, and I'm gonna take that 2,000 gold and use it to buy some things for and bring back to our keep. That's my goal. Now, of course, if anything happens, and likely it will, that derails me or, distracts me a little bit, that's all the fun of this game that we're playing. ACDM says, I'm here for sure. I'll be on the lookout for more advanced medical supplies to fill my field medic apothecary kit. Yeah. Ace the DM, aka Tarnish. Tarnish is Ace DM's true name. Primary skills: weather sense, language, first aid. ACDM says, also, I'm thinking I would like to figure out if I could find any info on the storms in the area. That's a good, well, let me write that down. That's an objective. That's an objective, yes. That is a good idea, sir. I also wouldn't mind learning a little bit more about this clan of these raiders who are a sister clan of Mafrafrul's Lost. I wouldn't mind learning more about them. They seem a little crazy, but remember, there's a potential civil war. There's a war that there's some conflict that can stir up because of what Mafrafrul Lost clan and how they're poaching these creatures that all of the other nearby clans in this sand ocean make use of. So I wouldn't mind learning more about them. But yes, definitely, we're going to keep an eye out. Let me write this down real quick. Or find any elders who might know of the nature of the area a bit more. Yeah, like, why are these... Why here? You know what I mean? Let's just learn more about Brahubbubs in general. There's a lot. That might be a key to getting some respect around here. Being these strangers that show up and are the only ones who actually can commune with these sentient storms. Mafrafrul's Sand City Mafrafrul, if you recall, is reinforced because of all of the storms. So it's a big part of the culture here, obviously, right? And then here we have Ace the DM who can speak to these storms. To me, that just sounds like something we can potentially leverage. And I think Ace the DM is onto something here. There's some elders, some older people, or just anyone knowledgeable of the local weather. Let's see what they have to Let's see what's going on with them. Do they need anything? Do they have any insight into the storms? Where they come from? Why this area? What is it about this desert? You know, anything like that. So let's learn about the local storms. Let's connect with locals. I'm gonna put /elders. And then let's maybe also let's learn a little bit more about the giants of the Sand Coast. The giants of the Sand Coast. So we're going into Sand City Mephrafrel. We'll go into one of the side entrances. Is it really easy to find the clan leaders here? I'm going to say, you know, this is a clan that we know is very prideful and boastful of their power, similar to Mephrafrel's Lost. I'm going to say that they're not. Oh no, we did say they were really mysterious as well, so we got to keep that in mind. They are very mysterious. Let me just to recap. The giants of the Sand Coast, mysterious, efficient, and warlike. The giants of the Sand Coast are the largest raider clan in the Mephrafrel region. This is a sister clan of Mephrafrel's Lost. So to the question of are they easy to find? We're probably going to have to go through some, you know, some hoops to find the leader, so I can speak to them about this execution. And it should be easy. Like they want us to execute them. They're waiting for us to execute them. But is it clear? Is it evident of where I can go to speak to someone about following through on this execution? I'm going to say 50-50. Absolutely. So we go in there, and there is a building in this city that appears to be their clan house. And it stands out. It stands out. Is this a building that we could just like go into, or is it guarded? Is this place guarded? I'm gonna say likely. No. Okay. I think that kind of ties into their whole mysteriousness, right? And they're pretty legendary, so I feel like no one would probably go there looking for trouble anyway, and they're probably just all inside. You know, you walk up to the steps and they're all inside, and you're probably just chilling. But we'll find out. Is there anyone that's like kind of loitering around the building that they're in? 50-50. Yes. Is it civilians? I'm going to say unlikely. Is it civilians? No. So it's all clan members that are loitering around there. But they're not guarding the place. Okay. So Ace, I'm getting ready to walk up to the building. Are they like long steps? Like a long stairway up to this building? You know, 50-50. Yeah, so I'm gonna approach, and you're with me. Does anyone pay? You know, people are probably looking at us, but does anyone get in our way as we approach the entryway of this clan house? I'm gonna say 50-50, because yes, they're not guarding it, but there's a possibility that maybe their security is just different. ACDM says, if we get hurt, we should be okay. I agree with that. The language being similar to body language and a mix of other things. What do you mean if we get hurt, we should be okay? Look, I just to let you know, I have we are equipped with what we think our character would be equipped with. And just about anyone on this planet should be walking around with some sort of weapon, whether they can use it good or not. And though, you know, I'm probably not a master swordsman, I am a blacksmith, and I swing my weapons around a lot just to kind of get the feel for them. And I know how to handle a sword better than most people because I'm the one making it for you. And I know with my weapon empathy, I have somewhat of a connection to the weapons that I create, and I know how they need to be handled. I say that to say that if I have to kill someone, which I am here to kill someone today, unless you're going to do it, Ace, I will defend myself. So if something does happen, I'm definitely not going to go down without a fight. We'll try my best to talk my way out of it. But, you know, I'm swinging that sword, and you don't got to be a sword master for a sword to be sharp. I wouldn't let you walk around without a weapon either. Your character doesn't strike me as someone who would not kill anyone, but unless you specify that you purposefully are not carrying a weapon, I would like to think that Ace the DM is equipped with one as well. So that's two, that's two. I'm probably going to swing. I'm probably dual wielding. I have two swords. We'll say that. I have two swords with me. Tarnish would definitely try to convince the party of giving her a less brutal death via the use of poison. Hopefully that works. I mean, this is a group that wants us to execute them, as opposed to just... Oh, no. What it was they wanted us to it was a one-on-one fight. It was a duel. I said that I'm not going to execute them, especially if they weren't paying us. And they said that they would give us a 2,000 gold if we duel them one-on-one. That's what it was. Or at least make her weaker so she isn't so hard to kill. And Tarnish would have a blunt weapon of some kind, a set of sticks. That's an idea, being that these people are hard to kill, something we don't know yet. I'm not here to have an honorable duel either, so if it does come down to, and it will, because they said that they would pay us if in a one-on-one fight to kill her, trial by combat, it seems. I'm definitely probably going to ask Ace the DM if there are any poisons that Ace the DM has. And there's a possibility that Ace the DM, we have weather sense, language, and, with that first aid, there is a possibility that they have some sort of poison. And when I ask that question, I will probably give it a boost if we say that you were working with Christopher Johnson, because Christopher Johnson is the one that kind of brought herbalism and medicine to us. So if maybe y'all were concocting something back at the base, so there's a possibility that you have something that can equate to a powerful poison. We'll see when we get there. Currently, we are apparently being approached. I asked the question if any of them are approaching. It seems like they are. So someone is approaching us, one of them. And we're just going to simply tell them why we're here. We were here not too long ago, and we're here for that one-on-one duel that y'all wanted. This was y'all's idea. So yes, they approach us. I'm not even going to wait for them to say anything. I see them approaching, and I tell them that we are the strangers that brought Kuva to your custody, and we agreed that we would be here to fight Kuva in a one-on-one trial by combat, and if we kill them, we want our pay. We're here to carry that out. What do they say? Carry/benefits. Carry/benefits. So they say, they say that something along the lines of, they look at the weapons on my waist. You're going to need those weapons. They will benefit you today. Almost as if they are aware of how the prowess that Kuva has. Because remember, Kuva is a fighter. Kuva is a Gerada agent. And they're pretty much talking crap, saying like, yeah, you're gonna those weapons you're carrying are gonna benefit you, especially 2 of them. You're gonna need 2 of them. Any weapon you have is gonna benefit you. So do they let us through? Do they let us to their leader? I'm gonna say very likely. Yes. So they let us in. I'm expecting to see a hall, maybe some tables, and I'm expecting to see some clansmen, all around being obnoxious. Well, no, they're not rowdy. They're more mysterious. But I'm looking to see some clansmen posted up, maybe in some important clansmen in chairs. Are the giants actually physically bigger than their sister clan? That's a good question. Let's ask. I mean, figuratively, they're in population wise, they're larger, but are they physically bigger than their clan? We'll leave that up to fate. We'll leave that up to the Meta Black. I'm gonna ask, are they physically bigger? 50-50. Are they physically bigger? Yes. Significantly bigger? 50-50. No. But they're more I would say across all of them, they are all very pretty solid, is what we'll say. Whereas Mfrafru's loss, you may have had some younger children, but even the children are like buff. Even the children are like stacked, Giants, maybe that's why they're called giants of the coast, Maybe a bit more calm, more poised, sitting around chairs, tables, eating, maybe training. That's what I'm expecting to see. Is that what I see when I step into this place? Yeah. No changes. That is a no change. So it's exactly what I expected. Is their leader, kind of in the center on kind of like a big throne or something like that? I'm going to say 50-50. Yeah. Is it more than one? Is there more than one seat of power? Very unlikely. Yes. Okay. Okay. Maybe about I'm gonna roll a D3. I'm gonna roll a D6. How many seats of power are there? 3. Are they all? Is this a predominantly male clan in terms of leadership? I'm gonna leave that up to fate and say 50-50. Yes. Are there any female leaders? I'm gonna leave it up to fate. Well, since they're predominantly male, who knows? I'm gonna say 50-50. No. Okay. All right. So we approach, and what do they say as we, what do they say as we approach, if anything? And this is the leader that's going to be talking, I would assume. Spy/allies. So the leader says something along the lines of, we've never seen your kind before, and we were wondering if maybe you were some sort of spy. We were wondering if maybe you were a spy, but the fact that you returned to execute this person makes us, maybe you are an ally of ours or an ally of our people, because an enemy of their people would be someone who is against extravagance, because we know that this clan is pro extravagance. And that kind of ties hand in hand with, if you recall in the last session, someone who I was starting to wonder if they were a spy. They were a relative of Shussi, but they were watching us, and they were spying on us to see how we interact with Shussi. And I think when they saw Inzundist karate chop Shussi, or karate chop Kuva in the back of her neck and knock her out, that kind of proved to them that we are not agents of Gerada, because we obviously are here and we brought her back to them. And so when we approach, he says something along the lines of, we were questionable. Where your alliance was, who you are and whose side you're on was questionable. But now, it seems like you're somewhat of an ally, or an ally in the sense of your pro extravagance, especially if you're here to follow through on this challenge and I'm gonna say I don't know if I want to admit that I don't know what extravagance is, because technically we don't. We're new to this world. But I'm going to say something along the lines of, we're new in town. We're new to these parts. And 2,000 gold goes a long way. So when we learned that we weren't going to get that after fulfilling the bounty, we were wondering if maybe you were our enemy. And still not entirely sure, being that my pockets are not lined with volatile brass yet. So we've come here to execute this fanatic in hopes that you can prove that you are an ally of the people of this city and be true to your word. What do they say? Or do they respond? Do they respond negatively? I'm going to say 50-50. Do they respond negatively? Yes, but not too negatively. And what do they say? Recruit/rumor. Well, they say that they do they use their bounties as a tool for figuring out who's worthy enough to call an ally, or worthy enough to work with. Somewhat of a not a recruitment tool, because they don't recruit people into their clan, but they do have allies that they are, that they wouldn't mind working with, and they use the bounties as a form of a test to see if there's anyone worth working with in the future, which implies that they are looking to give us more work in the future. Maybe they still aren't entirely sure. They use it as a tool to test us. But our test isn't over. They're not saying we're worthy. They're actually questioning it, because again, I don't look like a fighter. Neither does Ace. So when he says it in a way like, we use it as a recruitment tool to see, how worthy you are, to see how competent the takers are. But so far we're not impressed. But glad to see that you're here, is how I interpret that. Ace says, I like them already. Now, I'm interpreting that as, are you saying that? Are you saying that to me? Are you saying that out loud? Or are you kind of whispering that to my character? They start to clear out the floor in front of us, and they pull Kuva. They pull Kuva out. She's still chained up. And as they do that, I pull I put my hand on both of my hilts, left hand, right hand on both of my sword hilts. And I walk across the room and I say something along, I say, let's get this over with. Let's get this over with. Ace says, wait a minute. I'm realizing that they asked for our champions last time, and I'm whispering it. Okay, you're whispering it in very sarcastic tone. Yeah, I'm the champion. I'm stepping up to the plate. I personally was upset. I was actually let down when the dice rolls told us that they said they weren't going to pay us. So I'm after the volatile brass, and you know, my character's personality kind of fits this. So I'm looking for the excitement. I say to them, let's get this over with. Is Kuva wearing armor? Like, did they let her keep her Gerada armor and everything? I'm gonna say somewhat unlikely, or unlikely. Is she wearing like her original armor? No. Did they just got her in like some normal clothes? Like some raggedy ass clothes? Somewhat likely. Yeah. But they at least gave her a weapon. They gave her a weapon, right? Very likely. Alright, so she has her weapon. You know, just a sword. And I got my sword. Just to confirm, they want us to fight to the death. And this is to the death, right? I ask. Is this to the death? Near sure thing. Now, obviously, Kuva is a prisoner, but is she? What is Kuva saying? What is Kuva saying? Pursue / anger. She's all for it. She's like, I'm gonna rip you apart. I'm going to, because remember, the last thing she saw was we were talking, and then she got chopped in the back of her neck. So she's not happy. She's actually angry at everyone. But she's all for taking us out. So I have my favorite swords. I have my favorite swords in my hand. These nothing special, you know. We don't have any special swords yet. However, with a weaponsmithing ability of high, and a difficulty of forging a weapon, I would say for me is below average. What are the chances that both of my swords are perfectly crafted? Or the question is, with my weaponsmithing skill of high, was I able to craft a pair of near perfect swords? High versus below average. Yeah. So these are extra sharp. You know, they're nice and sharp. So Ace the DM says, do we have time to prep it all? Can I coat your weapons with anything? That's something that we would have talked about walking up to here. You know, so we can definitely say that as we were approaching here, we had a conversation. Let's see here. You're working with Chris Johnson with, let me see. +1, his influence is +1 rank shift to effects of homebrew concoctions made by him and Ace the DM. So with Chris Johnson's medicine, herbalism, and Ace the DM's first aid, both combined, you know, so it's going to be a skill of high. And then because they are the synergy with those abilities, with him assisting you, I'm going to give you a rank shift of +2. So it's going to be high +2. Okay. I'm going to ask the question, high +2, with your minds, in the last night, were y'all able to concoct some sort of poison to coat my weapon with? And the difficulty of this, I would say, is, let me ask you this, Ace, what kind of, in terms of magnitude of a poison, what were y'all reaching for? What were you reaching for? We talking like a poison, like an acidic coating, something toxic that's going to get into that bloodstream? What was your, we're going to go with what your intentions were, and then we're going to roll to see if you were successful and how close to that target that you get is how we're going to handle that. And then we're even going to, depending on the result, we might even add like a miscellaneous detail to this poison that you concocted. This is going to be your first poison too. I'm thinking, ACDM says, I'm thinking for something that is slowing or that causes someone to be disoriented or confused. Okay, that difficulty has to be below average. So I'm going to say high +2 versus below average. Is that something that them two were able to concoct together? Absolutely. Were they successful in making something that slows the target? Very likely. Exceptional, yes. Random event, PC, player character positive, ruin/legal matters. Ruin/legal matters. All right, so I'm interpreting this as when y'all created this particular poison, you felt that it was such a success that you knew for a fact that something like this has the potential to be illegal. Because it can really, really ruin someone in multiple ways. It can ruin someone in multiple ways. And we're about to figure out what that means, because I'm going to roll some miscellaneous effects here, to the point where you felt that there's a possibility that this is almost inhumane, what this poison does. All right. So yes, absolutely for a fact, it slows them. Does it cause someone to be disoriented or confused? I'm going to say very likely. Yes. ACDM says, nice, got ourselves some pretty potent stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, there's something else that this poison does that makes it, whatever this thing is, it made you and Chris Johnson say like, do we want to tell the others that we even created something like this? Like, do we want to write down this recipe? Because I don't know if we should even mass produce something like this. It's kind of effed up what this does to you. So I'm thinking slowing, or that causes someone to be disoriented or confused. But very extreme. We're going to figure out why. I'm getting ready to roll a description on a few descriptions to figure out why this made us feel that way. Okay? So we know that it does slow them. It does disorient/confuse. What is it about this poison that made us feel like this is something that's gonna just... It may be. I'm gonna roll a description. Let's see. What is it about this poison that is just effed up? And then HDDM, I want you to think of a name of this poison as well. All right, what is it? I'm going to roll two descriptions, okay? I'm going to combine them to figure out what is it about this poison that's just effed up. Here we go. Boom, boom. Crazily odd, aggressively reassuring. That's perfect. So, how do we interpret that? Crazily odd, aggressively reassuring. And remember, the key words here is it slows them, it disorients, and confuses them to the point where when I think of aggressively reassuring, it's permanent. It's freaking permanent. Which is why that's jacked up, man. It's not temporary, it's permanent. Whatever it is. That's what I'm interpreting. It makes him feel like a superhero, though. Is that what you're getting from Crazily Odd? Makes him feel like a superhero. Crazily/odd. Aggressively/reassuring. I'm thinking, okay, if we're gonna go that route, it definitely it impairs them in terms of that disorient/confuse. It does impair them in terms of them maybe thinking they're a lot more competent than they are, or a lot more capable than they are. Kind of like a berserking confidence. But it slows and disorients them. So if they're feeling like they're more than capable, they're not going to be physically capable, but in their mind, they feel that they are. I'm starting to feel like it kind of zombifies them. If you have someone who physically is not capable, but in their mind, they think that they are doing everything that they can, that can be dangerous. You know what I mean? You might not even, because of that, you don't even know that you're poisoned. It's almost like you're kind of caught in like a genjutsu. Like you think you're doing good, but you're not. That's what you're thinking? And that's why it's so jacked up, because not only is it permanent, but you don't know. Damn. So they're slowed and disoriented, but they don't know it. I'm gonna have that coded on my blade, okay? But I'm not gonna actually try to strike them with that blade unless I really need to, because I don't know if that's something that I feel like they would know that the person is poisoned, everyone watching, and I don't want them to know that I poisoned them. Unless I really, really have to, because it's not like it's cheating. They didn't say that I can't. But if I can get through this without them knowing that I want to look as good as possible to these people, right? Because we want them to look at us as someone that they can work with going forward. All right. So I'm gonna duel this person, and I have this blade. Ace of DM. What is this poison called? Target feels. Target doesn't know they are poisoned, and feels they are going above and beyond, but really aren't. And it's permanent. Damn. It's permanent. Could you imagine that? Yo, can you imagine not knowing you're poisoned, but not knowing? It's almost like Alzheimer's. Damn, that's jacked up. Emperor's Pride. Ace of DM's poison is called Emperor's Pride. well, Ace the DM, and this was directed by Ace the DM. This was produced by Chris and Ace the DM. But a lot of what this is from the first aid knowledge that Ace the DM has. You know, he kind of it seems like he sort of found a way to reverse engineer something that is supposed to help people, maybe while they're dying. Kind of like milk of the poppy or something, I don't know, but like he kind of made it so that it's kind of blocking off those sensors of your brain, letting you know that you're sick, but you don't know it. You know what I mean? That's jacked up. Emperor's Pride. Because its poison is so great, let's see, how much of this poison do we have? Okay, how much of this poison do we have? Because we might be able to make a load off of just this poison, but is that something, I feel like that's something we should probably keep to ourselves, like the secret sauce, you know, like welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger, you know, secret sauce. You know what I mean? How much of this exactly do we have is the question, is what I want to know. I'm going to roll potency to determine how much of it we were able to get. How much were we able to get? More. Okay, so we have, I'm going to roll a d6 plus 1 to see how many applications or vials we were able to get. 7. And because of the environment that we're in, this is likely a creation of some resources based off some resources that we found around the base. So it's probably we'll have to flesh that out. We'll flesh that out as well, because you would have had to have gotten the resources from somewhere. ACDM says, I would hope we didn't have a ton, and totally something we'd want to keep secret. Listen, it's dangerous. Having a lot of it is dangerous. But the meta black was favorable to us, and they told us that I rolled a d6. We got d6 plus, I rolled a d6 plus 1. We got 7. We critical rolled that. So we have a lot of it. And that's scary. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, we have a lot of nuclear weapons, but that's a lot that can be stolen and used against us as well. So just keep that in mind. You know, with Inzundis, he's working on reinforcing our base. We're going to have to make sure that we are keeping that stuff stored deep. Emperor's Pride. And honestly, the way I'm feeling right now, that might be one of our greatest resources. With so much of that, I was going to say, I wish we could like sell some, but we don't really want anyone to have that. That is a fate. That is a terrible fate, man. Emperor's Pride. So yeah, one of my blades is coated with that. It's coated with that, and I know, and I'm going to try my best to, I'm not going to lead with that, but I will, depending on how she approaches me. I know she's a good fighter. Heck, I might lead with that. I might lead with that. I don't want to die. And the longer she's not poisoned, increases the chances of me being damaged. So, all right, check this out, Ace. I'm going to duel her. Okay, so we can get this $2,000. Meanwhile, maybe you can talk to some of these clansmen and learn about the local weather. You know, they rule this town, so they've been here for a while probably. There's probably some elders, probably some elder clansmen in here that can give us some information about the local storms. Are there any people in this hall that look very old and wise? I'm going to say very likely. I'm going to say very likely. Yeah. So while I'm dueling, you should, you know, kind of get acquainted with these people. How's that sound? So they let her off of her chains. And I'm ready. I'm calm. I got both of my blades. My left one is coated, my right one isn't. And though I know it's not an actual efficient fighting style, and you should never hold your blades this way, I'm gonna hold my blades reversed like freaking Starkiller or Kadash from Final Fantasy Advent Children, because I think it looks cool and I want people to imagine my character holding my swords cool. I'm holding them both reversed, and that's how I'm gonna fight. Because my weapons I have a connection with my weapons, and even though it's not good to hold your weapons like that, my connection with my weapons negates that. I could hold the weapon in my damn mouth if I wanted to, because I'm so in tune. No, but that's how I'm holding my swords, because I'm cool. ACDM says, while I'm talking to them, I'm for sure looking for information on materials specifically. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump between my character dueling and your character fishing for information. So we see my target. We got to figure out who your target is. So you see an older man. Is this someone that looks like you could approach and speak to? Let's say very likely. Exceptional, yes. So you start striking up a conversation with the person. I'll leave that up to you. While I'm you think of some questions that you want to ask, and we'll ask them. Meanwhile, I'm about to drop this chick. I'm gonna try not to use the poison, because I just want to see if I can handle this. I wait for her to approach me. Fight starts. Their leader of the clan says, on like Shao Kahn, he says, fight, right? Does she approach me? Because she looks angry. Does she charge at me? Very likely. Is she a lot faster than I thought? Very likely. Yes. Random event, PC negative, block / the innocent. All right, so which player character I gotta roll that? Is it me? Somewhat likely. Yes. She's faster than I thought. Random event, block / the innocent. While she's charging at me, she grabs like a stool, like a chair, and launches it with her other arm at me. And depending on how I react to this, there's a possibility it could hit someone behind me. So I need to figure out if I'm going to block it or let an innocent person be hit by it if I move out of the way. I might be better off just trying to parry it, like slash through it, as opposed to moving out of the way. So I'm actually going to strike at the chair that's flying toward me. Is the chair like made of? Is it a? I'm assuming. I'm picturing like a wooden chair. Does this say wooden chair? I'm gonna say likely. Yeah, but I see it coming, so I have some time. I see it coming, so that justifies a +1 rank shift. With an average +1, and the difficulty of this chair flying at me, hitting it, I think would be, we'll say average. Am I able to parry and slash through the chair. Yes. So she throws that chair, and I slash it, and I break through it, which is probably what she really wanted, because now she, like I said, she's faster than I thought. She's probably almost near me. Ace the DM says, these sentient storms, what is known of them? What other beasts might be useful to hunt or tame? Are there any people in need of medical attention around I'd like to offer my skills to? Ingratiate them. And finally, can I pick up on any dialects or subtle things that aren't being said verbally? Okay. I break through that chair. She's approaching me. Is she near me? Is she next to me? Like within reach? I'm gonna say very likely. Yeah. I think I'm going to be on the defensive, let her use her momentum and her rage, and I'm going to prepare for one of her attacks. I wait for her to attack with the intention of countering. Okay. She swings at me, and I believe I'm gonna roll potency for her, but I'm pretty sure, I remember her being a very potent fighter, so I'm gonna say she swings at me. She's gotta be high with her sword skill. She's gotta be high. She swings at me with her sword skill. I'm going to, because I was waiting for her to swing, and so I can counter. I want to parry. I'm going to attempt to parry. I want to attempt to parry and then strike her with a thrust. I want to get this over with. I want to parry, and she doesn't have armor on. I don't have armor on, or I don't have any real armor on. But I'm going to I'm going to parry, and I'm going to go for a strike. But am I able to successfully parry with my average sword skill? I'm going to give myself a +1 because I was waiting for the attack. I'm going to give her a +1. Actually, I'm going to negate my +1 because of the chair distraction. This is not going to go good. Am I able to parry her strike? Exceptional, no. She slashes through my parry. And hits me with a critical. Yo, I'm about to lose an arm, y'all. She slashes through my parry with a critical strike. No, we're not dying. We're being maimed to hell, though. Like, I could potentially walk away with no arm. Right? The permadeath. You gotta have the permadeath, man. Just so you don't end up in situations where you have to figure out why you didn't get killed. Like, she's out for blood. So she strikes through my in critical hits. I'm assuming like she's probably is she hitting my arm? So it's going to be strength +2 rank shift. Her strength is above average, +2 rank shift. Versus my toughness, which is average. So my toughness is average. She's doing above average +2. So that puts her 3 ranks above my toughness, meaning anything that's 3 ranks above, like if it's a lethal weapon and it's 3 ranks above the target's toughness, that's an automatic death. When she breaks through my parry and strikes me, does it hurt? Is it enough to inflict a significant wound to the point where it has to count. Yo, I almost died. Yo, 86. It had to be an 85. Yo, I'm 1 point off from dying because I'm a beast. Man. You know I'm about to stab her with the Emperor's Pride. What's it called? I'm about to hit her with the flat of the blade, all in her mouth. My connection to my blades just awoke. Yes. The parry broke, right? She broke through the parry. I wasn't able to successfully parry it, but my sword, its resilience, right? I held it in such a way that she wasn't able to reach my flesh. I'm gonna say that was such a critical blow that she probably. I need to ask if I don't even know if I get to go next because that was a critical fail on the parry and tip. Am I able to react? Am I able to go next? I'm going to say I'm going to go just under 50-50 because it was such a critical fail on my end. Am I able to go next? Unlikely. No. All right. So she's going to go again, but that was rough, but I'm good. I'm good. Meanwhile, Ace the DM is speaking with some of the clansmen who are also spectating, and he asks that one of the first question he asks is these sentient storms. What is known of them? The person that he's talking to. Does the person that he's talking to, are they knowledgeable of these sentient storms? They have to be, right? Near sure thing. Exceptional, yes. So he asked one of these elder clansmen. The first question was these sentient storms. What is known of them? Does he answer? Does he answer Ace the DM's question? I'm gonna say likely. No. Remember, these are very mysterious individuals. They feel they're better than us. That clan that Mafrafru's lost, it was just the perfect timing. They were partying, they were drinking, and we were passerbys, and they let us hang with them. They were evil, but this clan is also evil. I could totally see them. Now, is this because they don't respect us? Or if they don't respect Ace at least? Very likely. Yeah. So Ace, you sent me a handful of questions that we're going to use, but we're going to need to find another way to maybe. And I think you said that, are there any people in need of medical attention around? I'd like to offer my skills to ingratiate them. I think that might be the next move. Maybe he disrespects you, and what does he say when he doesn't answer the question? Just to kind of give us some insight on why he's not answering you. What does this elder clansman say? That's kind of disrespectful. Carry/legal matters. Carry/legal matters. You think you can just carry yourself around this clan house and ask questions without going through the proper channels? The formalities of, second time. When I interpret legal matters as, the formalities of the way their clan works. And he says, the way you carry yourself, you don't carry any respect around here to be coming and talking to me informally. You said, are there any people in need of medical attention? Just looking around, does it look like there's any people in need of medical attention around here somewhere? I'm going to say, It's got to be somebody, right? I'm going to say somewhat likely. Even if it's just someone with a fresh wound, I'm going to say likely. Yes. Maybe we can strike a bargain. So Tarnish is kind of a coward. Oh, and faced with that would probably try and prostrate himself a little here. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, and a form of that would be immediately going to some form of, I guess, subservitude. You know, like I can offer, you know, see that guy over there who's bleeding? I can fix that. How about this? How about, matter of fact, does this dude have a wound? That person that we see that is wounded, right? Is it him? Is it the elder? For the sake of the story, I'm going to say very likely. No, it's someone else. Is it the elder? Is it someone next to the elder that looks like they're like a close relative of the elder? Very likely. Yeah. Yeah. What kind of wound is this? You might have to play doctor for a little bit to get some respect around here. Ace. What kind of wound is this? That this person nearby, close to this elder, what kind of wound is it that they have? Peacefully / smelly. So it's a festering wound. It's not a wound in the sense of it's like they need urgent care. It's something that has it's been there for a while. It's infected. It's infected. It's smelly. You smell it. That's what got your attention to begin with. You smell it and you look, and this dude has a festering wound. How else can we describe it? Anxiously important. You at first glance, you can tell that this is probably not a good thing. Like it's probably gonna get worse, just based off of your first aid experience. So with the first aid skill of high, are you able to diagnose what this wound is? Because it's so far along the stages, I'm going to give you a +1. I'm going to say the difficulty is above average. We'll say average. With your first aid skill of high, a +1 versus a difficulty of average. When you look at this, are you able to immediately know what it is? Yeah. I'm going to use a random generator, and I'm going to roll up a random wound or infection. And maybe this is how you can get this person's respect, to start answering simple questions. You know what I mean? It's just simple questions like what's up with these storms? But he's like looking at you like, who are you? Your homie's about to get killed out there. We might be carrying you out of here next. Who are you? I'm going to roll some random diseases. I'm going to choose the first one after I rolled, the first one at the top. Okay, here we go. Boom. Steel infertility. You can tell that this wound was inflicted by some sort of metal, some weapon, and it caused some infertility and the cells of their flesh to birth new skin cells. It's not healing. We'll call it infertile rend. It's an infertile rend. It's definitely necrotizing, but it's going to be called infertile rend. Infertile rend is a type of if you usually it happens when you from gashes and slashes, but when it gets infected, it doesn't heal. Instead, it does the opposite. It starts to corrode and become very necrotic. Infertile rend. Infertile rend's disease. Yeah, let's go with that. Infertile rends with an S. Infertile rends. A necrotic infection from gashes, slashes, and separated flesh. Now, there's a possibility they don't even know that, obviously, right? It's still there. So if you point that out, you know, you tell him, like, that's, you look and you see that's infertile rend. That's a necrotic infection from gashes, slashes, and separated flesh. You point that out. Is this something that, can you die from this? We'll say very likely. Yeah. You tell them, you know, you could die from that. With using your first aid knowledge of high with a +1 because the evidence is there, versus this person's disposition toward you of, we'll say the difficulty is above average. Are you able to use your first aid knowledge to convince this person that that's a dangerous situation this person's in? You able to convince them of that? Let's see. High +1 versus average. Or I'm sorry, versus above average. Yeah. So you point that out and he's buying it. And you let him know that you're able to do something about that. Does he oblige? Very likely. No. So they don't trust you. They don't trust you. Maybe you have to explain to them some of the bad things that can happen. Like, you can die. They're not buying it. Do you have any suggestions? They're not buying it. Maybe there's something you can point out on their body to prove, like, aren't you wondering why your eyes are green, right? The whites of your eyes are turning green. Are the whites of their eyes turning green? Somewhat likely. Matter of fact, is there anything about their body that, with a first aid of high, can you spot anything on their body that you can point out to convince them? Like a symptom. Is there a symptom that you can visually see with your high first aid skill? Yes. Yes. And what is that symptom? Let's see what that symptom is that you can point out. Hopefully it's really bad. I'm gonna roll a description. Calmly/familiar. So all the last 4 people that died of infertile Rens disease, there were some recent people that died, and they all noticed that there was a familiar symptom that they all had, a calmness, a melancholy, a sedated. You become calmer as you get close to death, and that wound starts to get real bad. You become calmer, and everyone noticed, like, the people that died, they were really calm. Have you noticed that this person with this wound, you notice this person is really, really calm? Have you noticed that? Has the person noticed that? Does that work? You know, with some of that evidence, does that work? And as you try to convince them that this is high versus above average again. Yeah, they started to put 2 and 2 together. Like, yeah, it really was. Yeah, but that could be a coincidence, right? Are they buying it? Are they buying it? Somewhat likely. They're buying it. Maybe something else we can point out. Is there anything else with the high first aid versus average? Is there anything else on the body that's a symptom that you can point out? No. But they're buying it, though. They're buying it so far. Okay. ACDM says, I'm thinking this has happened before, and I start to list out the later symptoms as well. So yeah, we got proof here of what's currently happening, and they're putting 2 and 2 together. Like, yeah, man, those people were really calm. And then you go on to list a few other symptoms that what's next, and that might spook them, right? So you list a few other symptoms as well, like how later on the great warrior who was just nicked just falls asleep one night and doesn't wake. And that can happen in weeks. It only takes a few weeks. Does he buy that? It's not like you're lying. Does he buy that? I'm gonna say likely. Exceptional, yes. So he says, what does he say? He's buying it. What does he say? Oh, now he wants to talk to you, right? What does he say? Pursue/wounds. He says, go on. Go on, man. You got him spooked. This is his nephew. Is this his nephew? Is this someone who's gonna go for the throne in a couple months? Very likely. Yeah, he's like, yo, take care of that, because my nephew's gonna be going for the clan throne soon, and we don't want anything. We don't want any problems. It says pursue the wounds. Pursue the wounds. With a high. That's wild, right? It's perfect. So with a high first aid and concentration, you have time. You have all the time in the world. I'm over here about to get killed. You got time. We're going to give you a +1 for the concentration and the pressure. Are you able to begin treatment on a healing path to cure them of infertile rends? I'm going to say the difficulty of this is above average, though. Okay, so high versus above average. High +1 versus above average. Are you able to do something to get them in the right path of healing? It's not going to be instant, but it's going to be the right path. In the other direction, away from death. Are you able to apply some first aid to the infertile rends? Infertile rends. Here we go. You ready? And remember, we need this so that you can get some respect and he can start answering some questions. Are you able to? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. Random event, an ambiguous event, meaning it's neither bad or good. Travel/friendship. You earn their, we were in the negative in terms of our relationship with them, but we are now on neutral grounds. Okay, it's not bad or good. We're not really anywhere, but we now have our foot in the door. This friendship is going places. Okay, we're not friends yet. We don't got the respect yet. It's going places though, and that's neither bad or good for us or them. They don't know who we are. We don't know who they are. But it's a start. It's going places. That's how I'm interpreting it. I'm interpreting it like a golden ticket, but more so, we're going to buy the chocolate bar that could potentially have a golden ticket in it. It's neither bad nor good. Everyone's buying chocolate bars. Our chances of getting a golden ticket have not increased, but we're now in the game. Our friendship is going somewhere. Travel/friendship, ambiguous event. He sees you applying the aid, and he's like, okay, well, while you're healing, while you're taking care of that, he starts to revisit. He starts to talk to you and revisit your original question. But back to my situation. She's going again. I parry, or I attempt to parry her first strike. She begins to Ace says, all right, cool, and we got a better chance than we did. Can we maybe increase our reward later? Increase our reward. What, the 2,000? I mean, all this is not for nothing, so I'm sure this is all this is going to contribute to whatever outcome we end up with. I'm sure they're going to remember that you just saved one of their lives. So I would imagine that could can equate to some sort of positive result, I would think. I mean, these people who knows with these people. Is she attacking me again with her sword, or is she going to use some physical prowess here? Is she attacking again with her sword? I'm going to say somewhat likely. Yeah, so she slashes, and then she goes to hit me with the pommel of her blade. So it's going to be her high strike, and I'm going to again defend. I'm actually going to use unarmed combat and try to catch her her strike with my arms. Kind of get her into like a lock, kind of lock her arm up with unarmed combat, which is what I learned from Inzundist. So let me just take a peek here. Inzundist. +1 rank shift to defending with hands. +1 rank shift to defending with hands. So yeah, hands, unarmed combat. I'm going to try to lock her up with my hands, arms, or what have you. But I'm going to try to lock her up with my arms. Using the tower fists. The tower fist martial arts that Inzundist has been teaching us, and well, not teaching me in, at least. Am I able to defend from her pommel by capturing her right? Am I able to defend? Let me clear this out. Let's go. Let's freaking go. And it's a critical yes. I'm definitely going next. Cause I got her. I captured her arm. Am I able to go next? Near short thing. Let's get it. Let's go. So she tried to pommel strike me using the tower fist pommel strike capture technique that I learned from Inzundist. That was one of the first things that Inzundist taught me, was how to defend from someone trying to strike me with the butt of their sword. I catch it. I plunged this poisoned sword with Emperor's Pride coated all on it. I stick it right into her thigh. With an average, I'm going to give myself a +1 because of the exceptional crit or exceptional capture. She's pinned. Matter of fact, I'm going to give myself a +2 from that exceptional defense maneuver. She's pinned and I'm stabbing her in her thigh. I could try to stab her in her throat, but I want to make sure I land this poison in her with Emperor's Pride coated all on it. I stab at her thigh. She's probably going to defend physically because I got her pinned. So I'm going to have her, she's not using a sword, so I'm going to bring her back down to average. She's an average, I'm going to say she's probably an above average scrapper. But I'm going to give her a penalty of, I'm not going to give her a penalty. I'm just going to go with my bonus. Am I able to land this thrust of this sword into her thigh, this poisoned sword into her thigh? And it's good because people won't really see it, because it's kind of like we're kind of like clung on to one another, and I'm just gonna hit her with a poke. I'm gonna stab deep though. I want it to hurt. With this thrust, does it land? No. Damn. Am I able to go next? Am I able to go next? 50-50. Yes. So I go to stab, and she must still be like tied up because she didn't think I was going to catch. She wasn't expecting me to catch her. She wasn't expecting that maneuver. So I'm able to get another thrust. I'm able to get another stab at it, pun intended. Am I able to get this stab? I'm going to lower my bonus down to 0. I'm going to lower it down to +1 because we're close range. This is I should be able to get an easy stab, right? I'm close range. All I'm trying to do is just poke her with this sword Am I able to get her with the second stab? Yes. My strength is above average, plus I don't have a medium sword, I have a light sword, so it's going to be +1 versus her toughness. I know she has a toughness of high because of her race. Well, I'm not slashing her. She doesn't have armor on either. I'm gonna give her above average toughness. I stab her with that second one. Does it hurt? She's gonna be poisoned. Does it hurt? Clear this out. Does it hurt? No. As expected. So she takes it to the, I stab her in her thigh. She takes it to the thigh, but that poison kicks in. Does that poison kick in? What's her? It's gonna be versus her toughness. Her toughness is above average. This poison is very powerful, and we get a +1 rank shift because it was concocted by you two. I'm gonna say, because it was such a powerful poison, I'm gonna say the poison is exceptional +1. Does the poison kick in versus her toughness? Oh, absolutely. Immediately. Immediately. So I stab her in her thigh. All right. And that poison kicks in immediately. What does it look like when I stab her with that? What is her reaction? Like, am I able to read on her face and see on her face that the poison is starting to kick in? Likely. Yes. And what does it look like? How does she react? Gracefully important. She's starting to feel the effects. She's starting to feel like she's a beast. That pride. She even chuckles. Like, I ate that. Like, that didn't hurt. She even says something. Does she say something like, boasting? Yes. What does she say? Carelessness / investment. She says you invested into these clan members is foolishness, and your carelessness has landed you in front of me, and now I'm about to kill you, or something along the lines of that. Like, you were careless. Now you're in a bad situation. My sword is in her thigh. She has me. We're in close. We're in close quarters. We're tied up pretty much. But you can tell she's getting cocky, and that's a symptom of that poison. But I know that she's going to start to slow down. All right. Am I able to go next? Very likely. Yes. Random event NPC negative, neglect / enemies. She becomes neglectful of the direness of her circumstances in facing me, and she drops her guard. And I'm going next, and I'm going to send my other sword straight into her throat. Average. Her guard is down. I'm giving myself a +2. Versus she's probably going to try to parry or defend with her sword, so I'm going to give her high, but she's slowed, so I'm going to give her a -2. Is she able to successfully defend against my kill blow, or I'm attempting to kill her? Am I able to land that? Yes. And with an above average strength, +1 from my sword, damage wise, because I'm going for a soft spot such as her head or throat, that's going to be a plus. That's going to be a +3. Her toughness of above average. So my above average +3 versus her above average toughness. Am I able to kill her? Because this will be a lethal killing blow. Am I able to kill her? Yes. I send that sword right into her neck. And everybody's like, why? What was she doing? But it all happened so fast. You know, while she was talking and boasting is when I did it too. She was talking when she was saying that. While she was talking all that trash is when I said, and I was like, bah, right into her throat. Does blood gush out on my face? Very likely. Yes. I put my other sword into her chest, into her stomach. With an exceptional yes. And then with my foot, I kick her off of my sword to the ground. Does the crowd get rowdy, or are they quiet? Are they quiet? I'm going to say likely. Yes. What does the clan leader say? Or does the clan leader say anything? I'm going to say very likely. Yeah, what does the clan leader say? Separate /elements. He says that, he pretty much says, he stands up and announces that I have distinguished myself from the common riffraff. It was true that, they were, that we are capable, and that we are capable strangers, and that, they find us to be useful. And he commands for everyone to, he does some kind of gesture, and everyone begins to cheer to his words, and pretty much elevating our titles, elevating us, and showing us some respect. With that really quick, swift display of combat, even though I poisoned her, that's how we get down. I wasn't looking for an honorable fight, but it was going to be her or me. She almost killed me. She almost killed me. So we went in. We went in with that plan. I said I would use that if I had to. And I had to, because she almost took my arm off and finished me. So everyone is cheering, the crowd is cheering. Meanwhile, you had asked a question, and that other dude is talking to you, and he's really happy now. He's really excited now. Does he tell us about, or give us some information about the local storms? I'm going to say very likely. Exceptional, yes. In the first question, ACDM says, yeah, we were not looking to die. All is honorable when your life is on the line. Ooh, got a quote? Got a quote? Was that a quote? So your first question was, these sentient storms, what is known of them? And what does he say? The elder, what does he say? What is known of them? Excitement / the public. He starts off by saying that, the public is gets very excited about they get very excited and probably frightened when discussing or on the topic of the sentient storms. It's very mystifying. It's very interesting that people love the idea of it, but the sentient storms are very dangerous. Many people have been killed by the sentient storms. So the thought of sentient storms, the topic of sentient storms is interesting and cool, mystifying. But many are frightened by the concept. He then says, extravagance / misfortune. He says that some believe that they are a result of some form of extravagance, magic in our world. And the Gerada and those that are against extravagance has used this sentient storm as a way of saying that extravagance is dangerous. They cause misfortune. But not everyone believes that. So some believe it's a form of extravagance. Now we know boon rocks are a natural occurrence. It is a natural phenomena of nature. So that kind of ties ties sentient storms to extravagance in terms of extravagance can be a natural thing. So it might be a result of extravagance, but not maybe something that's being manipulated by a person. It might just be a natural form of extravagance. And one last thing he says is return / rumor. He says that some of his people have gone out into Mafrafrul Desert to study and learn. Many people have gone out to study and learn about these creatures, or about these sentient storms. But rumor has it they have yet to return. So many have gone to learn and explore and learn about them. But rumor is they have not returned. So then you ask, what other beasts around here might be useful to hunt or tame? Now, this is something that they have to know about, right? But you know how this clan is with the animals around here. You got Mafrafrul's Lost, they're poaching animals. And you know that these clans use these animals to help them. There's a possibility they might not share this information, or all of the information. If they have like a secret animal that they don't want poached. So you ask, what other animals around here? Do they know? I'm going to say very likely. And do they answer that question? Somewhat likely. Yes. Does he tell us about the other creatures that we were in the process of learning about with the other clan? Because now I kind of want to tie this into that other plot line that involved that other clan poaching these creatures. Is it that same exact creature? I want to say very likely, just for the sake of bringing it full circle. Because remember, we know that there is another creature, but we don't know what they are, where they are. We just know that when you try to tame them or capture them, they people have been getting killed by them. They're hard to capture because they travel throughout the sand. Like they use the quicksand to kill you. Is this that same creature? Very likely. Yeah. He's going to finally give us a name of this creature. And he's also going to tell us where we can find them. I'm going to use the fantasy name generator to generate the name of this creature. And I'm going to go with the last result when I roll. Bearded shifters. Great bearded shifters. Great bearded. I like Sandbeard. I like Great Sandbeard. Great Sandbeards. Okay. Yeah, let's go with that. Creatures are great to tame, but hard. Obviously, we know they're hard to tame or hard to capture, but he says that once you tame them, they're a great utility. And he's pretty much confirming what we learned from that Mafrafru Lost Clan. And the other question you asked was, are there any people in need of... Oh, well, we know there's people in medical attention. But on that note, you also let him know that obviously you're a medic. Right? So within various conversations that we have with these people after that trial of combat, we let them know that not only am I a good swordsman, but Tarnish is, he can help you. He can cure people. He can cure you. He has knowledge. He's an expert in the field of first aid. And that's going to tie into when they were saying, okay, we now identify you all as allies, a clan ally, a clan friend. Do they name us as clan? Do they title us clan friend? Are we clan friends? Very likely. Yeah. Yeah, we're clan friends. We are they call us small giants. That's what they call it. They labeled us small giants. Now we got to be careful because this is like gang stuff. We're cool with Mafrafru's Lost, but we didn't tell them that we know Mafrafru's Lost. We're not going to. And if we have to, we'll just be like, no, Varium Gray is with Mafrafru's Lost. We're small giants. we small giant. He Mafrafru Lost. We're cool with him, but we're not Mafrafru Lost. We're small giants. ACDM says the last thing I asked was, were there any dialect, or body language I can pick up? Was there anything you were able to pick up on? I want to say the difficulty of that is below average. Was there anything you were able to pick up on? Yes. I'm going to take it a step further. Were there any subtle, really secretive, subtle gestures that you were able to pick up on? We're really going to test this skill here, and I'm going to say, treat it like a filter. Yes, we caught all the below average gestures, the common stuff, but were there any advanced methods of communication that you were able to pick up on with the difficulty of, let's say, above average? Your high versus above average. You were able to pick up anything more advanced? Yes, you were. And I'm going to say that was that is going to tie into how we seal this deal, okay, or this interaction with this clan, okay, because you were able to pick up on the common. Man, that should even probably be a perk. Whenever we communicate with these people, if you're with us, you can kind of help us communicate with them, obviously, because of that. But you were able to pick up on those common methods of communication. But there's one particular thing that you picked up on that's really going to help us out here. Okay? what this method of communication, this gesture, this dialect, whatever it was. I want a description for that. What exactly was it? Mechanically scary. So there was a call, like a vocal shriek or sound that you would hear someone make that meant something. You picked up on that and you were able to put two and two together and discover that it meant something. This is something that you saw their clan leader actually do as well after I killed the person. A rallying cry, some sort of rallying call. It made me think of standing at attention in military drill. Yeah, some sort of rallying call that is also a symbol of, like maybe some sort of pecking order. But what that's going to do, I'm going to say that what that does, that insight that you have into their culture from this you learn more about their pecking order from this knowledge, this salute. Yeah, you learn that they have you got more insight into their militaristic values. Okay, and that way that prevents us from making any mistakes when we communicating with them, because we have insight into their militaristic values. No, we won't make. We have a higher chance of not making mistakes. Where, just like when we were chilling with the Mafrafru's lost and someone spilled voidberry brew, that was disrespectful. But if we knew that was disrespectful, we would have held on tighter to our cups. But because we have insight into to this communication that you picked up on, you're able to kind of tell us, your peers, that we got to be extra careful and we have to heed their pecking order. Let me write that down real quick. The major question, and I want to wrap this up with this question here, is: do they give us our 2,000 volatile brass? In addition to them telling their leader, informing their leader all the great work that you did in saving that clansman, do they give us our freaking money? Let's see. Yo, wouldn't it be crazy if they still didn't give it? Do they give us the 2,000 volatile brass that they promised? I'm gonna say likely, not very likely, because they are unpredictable. But I am gonna say likely. If they don't give us the 2,000, we're gonna be using another vial of Emperor's Pride. We're just gonna throw all the vials. We're just gonna throw it. Word, man. All right, here we go. Do they give it to us? That and then some. What a beautiful ending. Matter of fact, they give us the 2,000 volatile brass. The additional, is it currency or is it something else? Right? Is it currency? 50-50. If it's not currency, it's going to be something else. If it is currency, we're going to see if it's double or triple. If it's not currency, it's going to be something else. Is it currency? Is it volatile? Is it more volatile brass? 50-50. Yes. Is it double? Somewhat likely. Yes. So Kuva had some additional volatile brass, and also they are going to forward us some more volatile brass from just, I think this is more so tied to when you had healed one of the successors, the dude's nephew. When you healed him, that family of that part of their clan wanted to give us more, so we got 4,000 volatile brass, and it was worth it. I almost died. Okay, I almost died. And as someone as someone like Tarnish, it was a lot of pressure being in this crowd and performing the way you perform. So I think this is more than worth it. I think we absolutely deserve this, especially because of all the crap that they put us through getting here. And that should be more than enough for us to go on a little shopping spree in Sand City Mafrafru in the next session. 4,000 volatile brass.